So what the cloud providers essentially do is they build out large-scale infrastructure, like some of the data centers that we saw. They make sure they have the reliability engineering and the operational expertise needed to build and manage that large-scale infrastructure. Uh, we talked about resources, so this could be CPU, compute power, storage, networking. Sometimes they don't just stop at resources, right? They could give you services. So let's look at some examples of services. Um, let's say I upload an image and I want to create a thumbnail of the image, or I upload a video and I want to create a variable bitrate streaming of the video, or I upload a bunch of credit card transactions, and I want to detect whether there are fraudulent patterns in those transactions, right? So these are now seem like business capabilities that could be potentially available to you out of the box for you to use in whatever application you're trying to build or whatever idea it is that you're trying to build. So that's why the reference to the notion that it's resources, which is compute resources, as well as services. Yeah. Because the cloud providers do this at scale, they are able to take benefit of economies of scale, right? Trying to do something a few times versus trying to do something at a scale of 100x or 1000x means you could negotiate pricing better, or you could build the best of the breed practices in what you do. But this is not just just by itself is not the essence of the cloud. What they allow you to do is to borrow those resources on demand, right? So this takes us back to this idea of on-demand provisioning. So when you as a consumer of the cloud, when you as an application developer has more traffic coming your way, and you realize that you need to meet that traffic, you don't have to worry about doing what's called as truck rolls, right? You don't have to worry about bringing in more hardware, installing it, configuring it. Instead, you programmatically, I mean, through APIs and things like that, you actually call the cloud provider uh, and ask the cloud provider to provision more infrastructure for you from their pool of infrastructure, right? The pool that they have already created. So in a way, the cloud gives you an illusion of infinite resources being available at your disposal. Of course, at some point, at a certain large scale, there is always a finite bound to it. But to you as an individual user on the cloud or an individual application on the cloud, you almost have an illusion of infinite resources being available to you. And all of these resources, of course, being accessible over the internet. And the beauty of it is you don't have to invest capital in this upfront, right? So you're billed based on consumption.